I know you don't smoke weed. I know that. But I'm gonna get you high today. Because it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Yo, it's your boy Big M, aka the Double Vodka Don. We're back with my co-host, Young Wayne Jetski, SoundCloud God.
Woo.
Producer Colin Cooper, the real MVP of the podcast, and the ones and twos. We are 808 Smoke Berries. We're back. I'm back in Rhode Island. I'm in the sorority house. I'm on lockdown. No one can know I'm here. I'm slithering around the house. I'm creeping in and out. It's a whirlwind over here.
Are you like army crawling from arm to room?
Well, thank God she's got her own apartment that's like attached to the house, like a good size 1-bedroom with like a big living room and then like bedroom, bathroom. That's like just for her. So she's got like an own door that goes to the outside of the house. So I've been slithering my way around outside the house, just in and out, making my way out, trying not to be seen. I'll tell you, I will give myself credit for a big man. I'm stealthy. I move quiet. I know how to tiptoe. I know how to make my presence felt, and I know how to make my presence not felt.
I'm going to make a Scooby-Doo gif later of Ev running through each like door zigzagging like that.
I will say you are stealthy because like obviously not as much now because we're on in the office, but there were times back before the pandemic hit, and I'd be like just working at my desk and look up, and Ev would be like right next to me. Like, what's up? And I'm like, how the fuck? I feel like I should be able to hear you like approaching, but I couldn't.
I'm smooth. I'm a smooth operator.
What size are your feet?
I told you, because I got good feet. I can dance. Like I'm light on my feet. That's what it is. I can I'm telling you, I'm the best at the Irish goodbye. Like I will if I want everyone to know I'm leaving, I'm leaving. If I want no one to know I'm leaving, I will walk out of a room full of people and not one person will see me walk out. I don't know how I do it. I think I have a good grasp of just having like a feel for the room. Like I think I have a very good feel for situations, but there's something you can't really quantify or like tangibilize until like you can't really put a number on it. It's just a feel thing. You just got to have that feel for like that moment. You just got to have that reaction time, and that you got to have that it's almost like a running back, like when you know, like especially like a zone running scheme, when you go the outside and you know like right when that hole is about to open before it even opens, and you just hit the hole like as it's opening.
Are you saying you're the Le'Veon Bell of leaving public gatherings?
I'm saying I'm better than Le'Veon Bell leaving public gatherings is what I'm saying. Le'Veon Bell wishes he was the caliber running back that I am the caliber of Irish goodbyer. That's what I'm saying.
Le'Veon Bell was leaving nothing last season, so I think Ev is a little bit stealthier.
I'm saying if you asked me like 2 years ago, I'd be like, damn, like we're like 1A, 1B. You ask me now, me no question.
Le'Veon Bell was Big Ev before working out.
Le'Veon Bell was big, yo. He was big in college.
Oh, you see him now?
You know, he lost weight. Yeah, he was when he was at Michigan, because I'm obviously a Big Ten guy. Like when he was at Michigan State, he was like just shy of 250, like 240, almost like 240. I want to say even like maybe combine or like before that, like was like 247. And I think he plays right now around like 225, like 230.
I thought he was going to be like Earl Campbell when he first came out. Like I thought he was just going to keep getting bigger and just, I mean, he had tree trunks for thighs. He kind of still does, but I remember watching him when he hurdled that guy. I don't remember his like iconic hurdle. I don't know who it was against. Can't remember the game when he was at Michigan State, but I was like, how is someone that big, that athletic? And now he's kind of like slimmed down and fit into it.
Dude, look at him now. Fucking ripped this year.
Maybe he should get,
I mean, because but that's why he's not really like, he definitely is like a physical runner, but he's like the perfect like zone running back. Like he's patient. Like I think it's just tough to be like, it's just tough to run the ball when your offensive line is so shitty and you have no quarterback. That's a brutal position. 100%. That's a brutal position to try to run the football when it's like a Leonard Fournette. Like when they're stacking the box 9 deep and your quarterback is not a threat whatsoever, and they know the only thing
Sam Darnold is a threat.
Yeah.
Stop trying to sneak in these jabs.
I know.
No.
I'm hearing the slander.
No. I swear to God on my mother's life, I wasn't even trying to. I'm saying you have to think a lot of his time in the NFL. Well, excuse me, not in the NFL with the Jets. I mean, really was like Darnold wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
Like I mean, he really like they only played
the offensive line.
Like they only played healthy. How many games did they play healthy together? Like 6. Like that's not like I'm someone who like I guess. This ain't a fantasy podcast, but I'm a believer. I'm a much bigger believer in Le'Veon Bell this year that I think most people are coming into it because of what they saw last year. I respect that he was running behind an atrocious offensive line with like Trevor Siemian and like Luke Falk taking most of the snaps in the time he was at quarterback. That is a brutal position to be in as a running back. I don't care if you're like Barry Sanders or like who you are. Like that's a brutal spot to be in when the only thing they have to stop is you.
And the thing is, he's not just like playing running back either. Like he'll line up as a wide receiver, and like he does it all. But like we had
great
offensive line, and Darnold was hurt. But even this year, I think we've slightly improved the offensive line, and I think you're going to see like a huge increase. Like I've been watching his off season, and he's just been going nuts, working out, like staying active.
No, I like him. I'm a Bell guy. Like I'm definitely not like a Le'Veon Bell like hater.
Yeah.
By any means.
Except for his music. His music kind of sucks.
His music, I will even say though, I think his music is. I don't think it's like good particularly, but I think it's better than most like athletes that try to make music. I'll say
he's the fourth Migo.
That's he just makes like music that like anyone can make, which I know like sounds bad, I guess, but he makes like music that I think, I don't know. He just makes very like
he's good at making mediocre trap music.
Yeah, like he just make that. That's a good way to put it. Like he just makes mediocre, like he makes like poor man's like hits.
Do you think a Drake cosign could take Le'Veon Bell to, I would say like tier 1 rapper status? Or not tier 1, not tier 1. Could it give him a mainstream consideration as a rapper, or could it potentially could a Drake cosign or Drake feature give Le'Veon Bell a spot on the Billboard charts? Could he crack the Billboard top 100 if he got a Drake feature?
It'd have to be the right beat. The right beat.
It couldn't just off the strength of Drake.
Not just anything. I don't think Le'Veon Bell. I don't think not literally anything. I think the right beat, the right song, yes.
I bring this up because I tweeted from the 808 Smoke Breakers account a graphic I found, not a graphic, more of like almost is like a fucking presentation of the Drake stimulus package, and it's a biography of the way Drake has assisted other artists throughout his career. Basically, Drake is like the ultimate assist man. So the Drake stimulus package lists 32 artists that Drake has basically is giving credit, or he is given credit for getting them their highest Hot 100 position of all time. The list is crazy. It's 2 Chainz, 21 Savage, ASAP Rocky, Black Coffee, who I don't even know, Black Boy JB, DJ Khaled, DVSN, Fabio Foreign, French Montana, Future, Gigs, I Love McConan, Georgia Smith, Kendrick Lamar, Kyla, Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Majid Jordan, Meek Mill, Offset, Playboy Cardi, Party Next Door, Quavo, Rick Ross, Romeo Santos, Sampha, Sosa Geek, Summer Walker, The Weeknd, Travis Scott, and Wizkid all got to their highest Hot 100 spot of all time because they had an assist from Drake on the record. And a lot of these names are less recognizable than Le'Veon Bell.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I think so. This is very much the Young Money mold in terms of like Lil Wayne didn't do this to the level that Drake did in terms of like putting people on like Billboard charts. But I think that like that mold and that like mindset to like throw all these like younger, not as established artists who you believe in personally, like throwing them features and throwing them like songs and stuff, that's very much the Lil Wayne way. In terms of, I remember like when Lil Wayne, like in Jetski, I know both of you guys know this, like when you like that time from like that 06 like to like 2012 Lil Wayne, like he was throwing everyone features, everyone, and because it was such a thing where, especially at that time when like Dat Piff, all that, like all those music streaming like type things, when like they would drop like the hot new hip hop, whatever, when they would come out with songs, it would basically in that time, that 06 to like 12 time, it would essentially be like, oh, like Wayne has a verse in the song, need to hear it right now. Gotta have it. Like that's especially how I was. That's how all my friends were. I feel like a lot of people were like that at that time, especially that were obviously into rap and all that. Like Lil Wayne was like so generous in throwing people verses that he fucked with, that he like, especially, and I think he consciously knew the power he had at that time, that he was like, if I rap on a song, everyone's gonna listen to it because they just want. He was just bodying everything at that time, so everyone to hear like, I want to see what Lil Wayne did to this beat. Like, I want to see what he like. What I just want to see what he did. Period. And I think Drake's doing it differently. Where like Drake.
I think Drake's better at it. I don't think you can compare the two, to be honest with you. I don't think anybody like Drake has just birthed so many careers. Like 32 of these artists.
I'm saying, no, that's fair. I'm saying that's why I kind of preface it by saying like Lil Wayne didn't do this to the level Drake did in terms of like putting people on the Billboard charts. But I think Drake got this like type mindset, and I think he got this like this energy to like do this and do those kind of things and like want to like uplift people and like kind of throw them the alley-oop. I think he got that mentality from Lil Wayne because he is the first to say like Lil Wayne is like his biggest inspiration. Like Lil Wayne was his favorite rapper. Lil Wayne is the one who like put him on, like took him off like fucking Degrassi and like just trying to make music like, and took him from being signed to some shitty label or whatever and took him like to the big time. Like Lil Wayne was the first one to like discover him and like put him on. And I think he took so much of like Lil Wayne's energy and his mindset to like not be afraid to like throw like a not as established artist a verse or something like that. Like I think he got a lot of that from Lil Wayne. Now Drake is taken it to another level. Yeah. Just because Drake like what differentiates like Wayne and Drake is that like Wayne was like obviously girls love Lil Wayne too, but like Drake is so much like he is so like gender like neutral in terms of like he makes so much music for the girls.
Lil Wayne is gender neutral?
No, I meant to say Drake.
He's non-binary.
I meant to say Drake is so like gender neutral in terms of like the people that listen to him. Like Drake has Drake has just as many girl fans as he does guy fans. Where like I said, like Lil Wayne obviously has tons of like girl fans, but I would say he definitely is more like significantly more guy fans. Whereas Drake is like just straight like guys, girls. And just the way he sings, obviously, and everything. So he has that stardom now where, like, when you're, like, where he's reached, like, Drake is, like, past a rapper. Like, Drake is just, like, an artist. Like Drake is, I wouldn't even say he's pop. Like, he's, like, almost past pop where he's just, like, period. Like, he's just at the top of the pyramid.
He could do whatever. I feel like for Lil Wayne, it's basically, like, he's got his small core of Young Money, and he might find an artist here or there. But if he's going to go on your track, he's going to make your song a banger. For Drake, like kind of what Ev is saying as well, it's like Drake, he can do anything, but he's also looking out for all like the younger artists to bring up, you know, like he doesn't specifically have just like his circle. Like he'll put on for anyone.
His average assists per year, I say that in air quotes, I guess basically if he's helped someone achieve a higher Billboard position than they ever had before. So by years, in 2011 he had 2. In 2012, he had 6, 2013, 3, 2014, 2, 2015, only 1, 2016, 6, 2017, 7, 2018, 3, 2019, 3, 2025. That's like solid, like if you're like a solid role-playing 3 in the NBA, that's a good average number of assists to have. That's probably like 4 assists a game. Like if you or 4 assists over your career, if you're averaging all the assists he got those years. I actually kind of want to do the math.
Oh, he's averaging probably 4 in that 3.5 to 4, probably.
But I don't think that even that's in his assists, and then his own solo hits are like his points per game. Like he's not averaging a double off the assists, but he's very close.
I mean, bro. You had to think he's like he's doing like Giannis numbers. Like he's putting up like 30 and 15, but then he's also averaging like 4 or 5 assists.
Yeah, it's very impressive. I think
even though Giannis is getting bullied right now, but that's another conversation.
Giannis is we got to get into that in a later date, but that's crazy. I just think it's super interesting to see like all these people that like the Travis Scott in The Weeknd. I would think they would have had at least peaked close to top 10 without Drake, and then you realize Travis Scott, like Sicko Mode, is his biggest song, and it's a song because it's with Drake. Yeah. How crazy that song was because Drake came on. I think Drake is probably a Drake cosign or a Drake feature is the most important or the most powerful thing in music right now to sparking a career out of nothing.
Dude, I remember probably I'm going to say this is maybe 2014, maybe 2015. This might be 2015. I remember, and this is before like 21 Savage had like any bigger songs like whatsoever. Like, I remember him just saying he, like, fucked it, 21 Savage. And me being like, damn, like, let me peep 21 Savage. Like, and then being like, damn, like, he's fucking fire.
He did
like,
the same thing with Kodak Black. He, like, put a video of him dancing to Kodak on his private jet, and it went viral, and Kodak blew up even more.
Like, I think Drake, more than any artist of all time, I would even say at this point, just because he's been I'm not saying he's the biggest artist ever, even though he's getting, like, up there. I think he has the most ability, and well, part of this is his willingness to as well. But I think he has the most ability to where it just seems with Drake, it's like singles, album, whatever. It's like everything he touches just turns to gold. Like, it's like he just doesn't miss. Like, I feel like he's so, like, I don't know if it's him specifically or like his team or whatever, but they're just so smart in the way they pick beats and pick songs and just like I feel like he like is so good at attaching himself to the right things where like even like a Sicko Mode, like I think like everything about it is great even without him. Like he makes it better, of course, but he has such an ability to just it's like he just has that Midas touch. Like it's like everything he touches, it's just gold. Like he just makes hits.
Do you think I'm going to propose a question that you're probably not going to like, but is Drake more influential and overall impactful on the music industry as a whole than Lil Wayne?
It's a difficult question, I think.
It is a difficult question.
I think it's a difficult question because I think it's the way you word it, it's interesting because I think you can see Drake is like they have different impacts. I think Lil Wayne, his impact is interesting and so like his impact is much deeper than surface level. Because I think when you see all the young like SoundCloud artists, he like influenced all of them in terms of in terms of the dreads or like color dreads, face tattoos, just everything. Even though that's like not great, but
I know, but still he influenced him to do it.
Just influencing like his influence on the culture and his work ethic would just like no one put out more music than Lil Wayne. Like in terms of just like he put out so many projects, mixtapes, but also just the sheer amount of like verses he was giving out. He just had such an impact on the culture of music that like I feel like every young artist now, like the ones that are like in their like mid 20s, like that, like 22, 20, like I feel like all of them will tell you that Lil Wayne had a massive impact on them. Like I think and even just the way he dresses, like I feel like he was the first one to start dressing like very like out there and like different. Like think about like at the time, like no rappers were just gonna like skateboard. But like he just like thought it was cool and just wanted to do it.
Yeah, but
like,
when it comes to like overall music, though, I don't know if I would say cultural impact. You could say Lil Wayne might have more on rap, but I think on the music, like, straight up just the music industry and like creating careers and creating bigger overall like a legacy in music, I think Drake will have it at the end of his career.
Well, no.
I think that's more important than
I agree.
It's a totally different time of music. Like the stuff we were getting from Lil Wayne, you just would never. It's like kind of like when people say like The Office could never be made today because it would never be like allowed. It's like that, where it's just like that was so new and fresh and everyone loved that. Now you can hop on. There's a million different artists. There's so many different ways to listen to music. There's all these different ways to consume it. Before you just had LimeWire and you knew the best Lil Wayne track and you were fucking downloading all that stuff. It's just such a different time and it's so much more fast paced and accessible now that like music is so hard to compare to back then. That's why those like Biggie, Pac, Wayne, Jay-Z, all of them are always going to be great and you can't touch them because they're the originators.
But I think Drake is still going to be more important to the
I'm 100%
music.
agreeing with you. I'm saying the reason why, though, that you wouldn't give it to them is because it's just such a different time.
It's because Drake never made a fucking rock album that flopped. Lil Wayne.
You're in the
right place at the right time. That's Drake every single time. Like he just.
But Wayne was willing to take more risks than Drake ever was. I think, in terms of like
Drake did a whole album in a Jamaican accent. And he's a Canadian Jew.
Yeah, but rock is like a whole. Rock.
No, I agree.
But no. But here's what I'll say. Drake has more impact in terms of I will 100% concede that a Drake verse is more powerful for your career than a Wayne verse was. I'll say that. I will that's just the truth.
Also,
That's
because I think on any Wayne song that you were on, you're just gonna get bodied. Like Drake will
Drake will
be like, let's make the best
remember,
song, and Lil Wayne's like, let me absolutely destroy this beat so no one can even touch it.
See, that's what I was gonna say. Whereas, like when I was in the era of like when I'm like after school, like getting on my parents' computer and being like, oh, like Lil Wayne's like has a new verse on like some random dude song. Like I have to hear Lil Wayne's verse. Like no matter what, if he has a verse, like I need to hear it. Period. But there's so many songs that he would do verses on that to this day I will like have them on my phone or whatever in my music, and I will skip completely the other person's verses like just to hear Wayne's verse. And I think even at the time that was true. Where I think Drake has been more strategic. I think Drake has picked better people to like do this for. Where I think Wayne was doing it for people that maybe didn't have like the potential that of the people that Drake was doing it for. Where you see like a lot of the people on that list, Drake was doing it for people, even when he probably some of them they already were very established, some of them not. But he he was doing it for people that I think like turned out better than a lot of the people that Wayne did for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that wholeheartedly.
Like Drake has more impact in terms of, like we said, like he has more impact on like the impact he can have on your career right now, that he can hop on your song and like make it like a massive hit. Where Wayne might have put like Wayne would have put way more eyes on it than ever would have been on it. But just because he has a verse on it didn't mean it was going to be like a Billboard like top 100. It just meant it was going to get a lot more views because people just wanted to hear like Wayne just body the verse, like you said, which I agree.
If you were coming out, if you decided you wanted to become a musician and you had one choice, you could either get on a song with Drake or Lil Wayne at any point in their careers. And that could be your single. It would be Big Ev featuring 2020 Drake or Big Ev featuring 09 Wayne. Who are you choosing?
For my career, it has to be Drake. If you want to launch your career, this is me like speaking. This is not me speaking from like a. This is me speaking
business
from like
point of view.
Like a business. Like if I was gonna launch a career, it's Drake.
Okay.
But just my nostalgia. Like I would love to be on a song where like, but it's what you said. Like it's like Wayne's just gonna spit something so much harder than me.
Yeah.
So like no one's
Drake will like
care
make sure you like he'll like no sing this. Drake will like write the song for you. He'll make sure you like deliver a good hook or something. He wants the best product out there.
Like Wayne's just like all you're gonna see after like me and Wayne rap together is gonna be like, damn, like Lil Wayne's such a better rapper than him.
I feel like Wayne is like old school, like Bad Boy Piston era NBA where you wanted to beat the shit out of everybody. There was no friends. And Drake is like the NBA now where everyone is friends and like everyone hangs out, drinks wine after. That's like the vibe that Drake is curating in the music industry.
That was actually that was a good way to put it. But see, that's why what was it, 2 episodes ago that I said like with Drake, like Durant, like in the music video, that's why I relate them like Drake joining the Golden Katie joining like Golden Drake move. Like that was something that Drake would 100% do. Wayne to me is like I don't think this is giving Wayne enough credit because Wayne in my opinion would have rings, but Wayne is like a Damian Lillard almost.
Yeah,
but Wayne is like, to me, Wayne is like a Damian Lillard like with championships because like Wayne was such a GOAT that he's got like a ring or two, like but he doesn't have like 6.
All right, that makes sense. That's
fair. But any team that Wayne was on, he was the best player by far. Which like Durant, like you can't always say that. Like Steph Curry is like I think if you put a gun in my head and said like you can have Durant or Curry, like I'm taking Durant. Mm-hmm. But I mean like it's like I'm thinking about it. Like I'm like Curry's fucking great. Like Klay Thompson's great. Like Draymond Green's great. Where Wayne was out here like Wayne was like AI. Like Wayne's out here dropping like 50 in the finals against like Kobe and Shaq Lakers. Like the team on his back.
I think Wayne is Kobe.
Wayne is Kobe. Wayne is like Kobe. Like Wayne is like that. Wayne is Kobe. Like Wayne has championships.
But you would never say Drake is Kobe.
Even saying he was Lillard was like disrespectful. But I was saying like in like more about the mindset. Like of just like he's like a killer. Like, he's going to kill you with his guys, like, regardless.
I don't think Drake's Kevin Durant, though. I feel like, I mean, they are very similar. I'm trying to think who I would compare Drake to. Like, who is, like, an athlete that is awesome, fantastic, like, an amazing player, gets the job done, delivers, has championships, but is just universally loved.
Well, I was going to say, Drake would almost be, to me, an artist that he'd be someone who, like, won a championship or two, like, early in his career, and then went and, like, chased more championships, like, joined, like, super teams, like, afterwards. But no one in the NBA is really – like, I feel like no one's, like, chased championships after they've already won championships by themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Is Lil Wayne MJ and Drake is LeBron? But I don't think Drake and LeBron are similar in their characteristics. But I'm saying how LeBron, like, team hopped.
I think they are. I think Drake and LeBron are pretty similar.
I guess I could. I think that's the closest analogy you can make, because Drake, even though Drake isn't, like, in these songs where he hops around with different artists like The Weeknd, Travis Scott, he's easily – there can be arguments made that certain songs he gets outshined on, but for the majority of them, he's the star and it delivers the best product. The same could kind of be said about LeBron. Like, LeBron went to the Heat, jumped around, now on the Lakers, and he's undoubtedly the best player on all these teams, but he doesn't necessarily always – perform in crunch time. Like, when he won with the two with the Heat, I don't remember which one, but it was the first or second. Like, D Wade, I feel like almost didn't outplay LeBron, but had a huge hand in both championships. He did, but, like, there was nights where D Wade went out and put the team on his back as well. And I feel like you didn't get that from Jordan, which is
it was only with Bron. It was only the first finals he lost that he really got outshined. Like every finals that he won, and pretty much every one besides the first one where they lost to Dallas, he was the best player by far, in my opinion. Like, not saying that D Wade wasn't great, but, like, he was the best player, no question.
I'm trying to think if
LeBron wins with the Lakers, I feel
it's just tough to compare LeBron and Drake.
Say LeBron wins a chip this year with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Where he has like a total of 4 with 3 different teams. That's very Drake-esque.
That is very Drake-esque. I completely agree. Because Drake he was with Young Money, and then he was with he brought in EXO. He had The Weeknd on his fucking camp, and then he hops around to Skepta and he gets a hit, and then he hops to fucking New York and does a song with 504 and gets a hit.
Actually, hold on. I think I just found the real analogy, which this one should have jumped out the page at me. I don't know why it didn't. Lil Wayne is Shaq. That's who I said this on the podcast before, I think.
When?
I think I did a while ago. See, this is why Wayne is Shaq. I think I actually might have said this when Brandon Newman was on once. Lil Wayne is Shaq because Wayne, like, Shaq in his now I know because I'm remembering me saying this before. Wayne is Shaq because Shaq, like, in his prime, no one could guard Shaq
and was the most dominant force on the court
for that like 5-6 year stretch in the NBA. Shaq was the most dominant player. No one could guard him. No one could touch him. He was winning no matter what. That's 06, like that, like 90, like 99 to like 05, like 06 Shaq. That's like 06 to 2012 Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
He was dominant. Like he might have had Drake for a couple of those rings. Like, and Drake in that situation, I would say, is like Kobe. Like Wayne was the best player at first. But now, like, looking back now, you could say, like, Kobe had the better career than Shaq did, which now I think it's like it would be fair for someone to say that Drake has had the better career than Wayne has, which I think is fair from just not like, obviously, like, I love Lil Wayne, like he's my favorite rapper, no question.
You had to say he's my best friend.
He basically is. He might as well be.
You're like, he's my best friend.
He's given me more happiness than some of my friends ever have. But that's I know I've said this on the podcast before. That's like how I would say it. Like Wayne had the and I would even say in terms of Wayne, like Wayne had the more like, and Shaq had the more like dominant like small stretch. But if you took like who would you rather have like their career, you would like I think rappers would say like I'd rather have Drake's career. I think most of them, and then I think most basketball players would say like I'd rather have Kobe's career. But I think
more rings, yeah.
but I think the short period of time, I think Shaq and Wayne's peak this I think you could argue with Drake and Wayne, but I think you could make an argument that his peak might have been higher. Like now Drake has catapulted himself in such a high level just because of his singing and like the pop music and like the way he like can get like the girl, like the way like he just makes music that girls like love and guys love. That now like Drake is almost catapulted himself like past being able to say that. Where like you could even argue, like you could definitely make an argument that his peak is higher than Wayne's. But I'll say for the sake of argument, I would say Shaq is Wayne, Kobe is Drake.
I like that. I think we should close the door on the Drake stimulus package argument and the Drake versus Lil Wayne beef with that, because I think that was not beef, but argument. I think just that was a great cap to put on it. I like the analogy. I think anytime you can compare sports stars and rappers to each other and find a good analogy, it's very helpful.
And if anyone remembers, I'm like 95% sure I've said this in the podcast before, that exact analogy.
Probably have. I don't know.
So if you remember, tweet it at us. If you're listening right this second, and then you also remember me saying this like 6 months ago, let me know.
I want to transition to a topic we talked about early on in pandemic when we were like, what the fuck's gonna happen with live music? Obviously, some concerts have been going on, driving concerts. Colin actually went to one last week. How was it? Who did you see? And what are you confident that this is a business model that will thrive in the future going forward if this is how we have to do concerts?
Yeah, I loved it. It was a lot of fun. I was up in the Cape, and I went to see Mount Joy. So there's this band that I have on my Spotify who came on my play or Discover like a year ago. His name is Vance Joy. So when I was going to the show, I was like, oh yeah, I know a song by this guy. And then I'm like on my Spotify looking up the song and like Mount Joy won't come up. So then I just type in Joy and I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, this isn't even the band that like I know. But I was with like a bunch of my friends. And so the way it worked was like you buy a parking spot and that counts as your ticket. Mm-hmm. So you drive in with your car. You can have like any car. It doesn't matter. So we had 2 cars. And I think you can have like as many seats are in the car, like you can bring people. So we had a Jeep and then my other friend had a pickup truck, and you back into your spot. There's probably like 15 to 20 rows. So there's a lot of people there. And you just sit in the back of your car in the trunk or in the truck bed, whatever you have. You can bring your own beers, food, anything you want. And then like people just walk by like, yo, like the health inspector walks by. So like if you're not eating, like you have to have a mask on.
Oh,
like sucks. I mean, you don't like, it's dark out, so no one's really like cares. Like we didn't have our masks on. The lady was basically like, just like have it in your hand just in case. But they were all like very nonchalant, cool about everything. And then I thought it was cool because, I mean, obviously it wasn't like a band that I really, really cared about. So I wasn't just like sitting and listening the entire time, but like we were all just like shooting the shit and talking, and like, you know, it was just in the background. And they have like giant screens like every like 5 rows. So if you're far back, like you can't necessarily see the stage, you can actually still see what's going on. So I think it'll work out for the future. I had like a blast, but I just don't know. I can't remember if they were selling alcohol there. They're selling food. I just don't know how it's going to go with venues, because like this is a venue in Cape Cod. It's not, you know, like a massive venue that people are going to. So I don't know how they're going to go about like, 1, with drinking and driving alone, but 2, just like being able to bring in your own alcohol and stuff like that. So we'll see.
How was the sound? Was it like,
sound was totally fine. The only thing that's kind of like was a little off was the drummer. He had like the glass case in front of him trying to like back the noise. And it was like in certain songs, it would just like the farther you were back would like echo kind of weird. So the one thing I was surprised of was that they didn't have speakers on every single one of the TVs. So you're not necessarily like actually hearing the band on stage. You know what I mean? You're hearing it just come from the speaker. So that was like the only downside, but that was like a couple songs. Other than that, it was totally fine.
Why did he have a cage around him? Like, it was like
I think he was trying to like hold the sound in. Like, you know, those glass, it's not like a cage, but it's just like these glass walls that go around drum kits. Like in the studio, sometimes they have that.
Yeah, but I never seen that in like a live.
I've seen it in shows before, because I think he was the second drummer. I think there's 2 drummers. So I think they were trying to like hold in one of the drum sounds and then like have the actual drummer playing.
Oh, I get that a little bit, I guess.
But yeah, no, it was awesome. So if that's the future for concerts, I'm about that for sure. I'd like to see how it would be for a band or artist that I like personally versus like just going in not really caring who's playing and just like chilling with everyone. But it was fucking awesome to not have to like be squeezed up against people and just like have to get there like early. Like we rolled in and the show was like already going. So it was
cool.
fun.
Did it feel like you were at a real concert, or did you feel more like you were
Yeah.
at a bar with live music?
No, 100%. It felt like a legit concert. I mean, it's a big stage. There's a band on stage. It had that feel. You're just like, you're with your friends in your own area versus like people are just scrambled out all over and like you have to scream at each other. Like, yeah, I liked it. It was a lot of fun.
The thing, see, like, I guess we're just like different types of concert goers because all the things that you're saying are like things you like are glad you didn't do, or the things like I miss, like being in a crowd of sweaty people.
Where it's like, yeah, I love doing that stuff. Like, you know, I'm a huge concert fan, so you know, I like being with the people. But it's kind of now that you've gotten the quarantine taste of life, it's kind of like, oh, this is actually not that bad.
Yeah.
Like, why weren't we doing this to begin with?
Yeah, I'm in on it. Everything you said, like I've been like, I'm in on it. Like I could definitely like,
It's
I
just
could definitely see myself just pull up with the squad.
comfortable.
You just pull up with the squad, have a time.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
I don't think this. I said this to Colin because he told me about it when I saw him at work the other day. And only thing is though, this model I don't think works for rap. I don't think it works for a rap concert where you're not playing. You don't have live instruments. And a lot of times, like I've been to a lot of rap shows. They're not always great performers. Majority of them are not. They play over backing tracks, at least up-and-coming rappers. They're not great. The whole point of it is you just hear the music in a tight space and the bass is going hard and everyone's jumping around. That's what like a modern rap show really is all more about, the energy. I feel like if fucking YBN Namir or something was on stage and we were all sitting in a car and it was just him rapping by himself with a backing track, we'd be like, this is terrible. What are we doing?
That's fair. That's more than fair.
I feel like rap shows, like I haven't heard of anybody doing like a socially distanced rap show. I don't think that we're going to see that version of any type of hip hop show. I think that hip hop shows are only coming back once we're allowed to like have some type of people in the crowd.
Yeah, it was just like a sense of normalcy again in being able to see a band. But like this place, they put on like comedy shows and everything. So it's normally like a drive-in theater, but they're doing just like more than music. And I know because that band that I saw played in like Philly the night before, and a girl that we work with, she went to that show. So this isn't just happening in like one area. They're like bands are traveling and doing this.
The driving comedy shows or something, I'm totally like I want to try to find one close to where I live in Jersey because that's something that they totally can do. Like,
well, it was like Nikki Glazer was in like a week from when I was there, so I was like, oh, she's like a big comedian. So
yeah,
that's awesome. We need to maybe we figure out how to do a socially distanced live music review of or podcast or something. I don't think I don't know if anyone's clamoring for it right now though. There was a report that just came out this past week that ASAP Ferg was kicked out of the ASAP mob by it wasn't ASAP Rocky who said or anything like that. It was one of the lesser known guys, ASAP Ills. He's a model and doesn't really do much music wise, but he kind of helped create the clothing line Vlone with ASAP Bari, I believe. So he's more entrenched in like the artsy side of the ASAP collective. But he put on his Instagram story that Ferg is not an ASAP mob anymore and that Ferg makes shitty music and he's tired and basically a bum. Meanwhile, Ferg was just featured on Nas's new album. Ferg and ASAP Rocky are the only members of ASAP who have ever charted, who have ever, had gold records. I don't think any of us really know the ins and outs of the ASAP mob world, but if he is kicked out and if ASAP mob is like crumbling, it's a kind of a sad time for New York. Cause I remember when ASAP Rocky came out in 2011, 2012 with Purple Swag and New York had a little bit of a drought for a while. It was end of the mixtape era, beginning of the internet era. And no one from New York was really putting out something fresh. And he kind of was just this swaggy, pretty boy from Harlem. And he just took over by storm. So I hope ASAP is not completely disbanded. That would be a very sad moment.
Yeah, they just had they just came in with such like a new energy and like new wave, like just being so entrenched in like what you said before, like doing the music, but also doing like the fashion and like all this stuff. Like they were just doing like that type of mindset where like pretty boys, but like will still whoop your ass type like energy, like just a very like New York, but like a very fresh but like New York like vibe that no one else was really on at the time. So I mean, I was someone who I definitely was always a fan of like Rocky Ferg. I definitely was not like I just know so many other people from New York that were like super like hardcore ASAP fans. So I won't put myself in that suit out of respect for just I know like how many people I fucked with that like rocked with them so hard. Definitely was like a big fan though, and definitely was like all following what they were doing and like listening to all like obviously like songs like Ghetto Symphony and like Goldie, like just absolute classic like New York hip hop, like just classic hip hop records. But and I saw Ferg. Ferg actually performed. Him and Ray Shrummer performed at Ohio State for like our spring concert, and it was amazing. ASAP Ferg came on stage wearing an Ohio State football jersey that said Ferg on, like ASAP Ferg on it. Fire as fuck. He killed it, and that was around. I forget what album it was. He dropped an album that I was a big fan of. I forget what it was called. This is probably like 26. It's probably like spring 2016. Maybe even 2017. Probably 16. But I'm a huge fan of the ASAP, but they just haven't really been like, I mean, they haven't dropped a ton of music in the last like few years, especially Rocky. Like Rocky dropped that one, like in the last like 5 years, I feel like he's dropped like one album.
Yeah, he got locked up in, where was he locked up in fucking Sweden?
He was not for like that long. I forgot about all that too.
It was like a couple months.
Yeah, no, a couple months. Yeah, that was crazy. I remember I wrote a bunch of blogs about that at the time.
How cool,
all those videos. That was a crazy thing.
I think that was last summer, maybe, and Trump got him out.
It was last summer, yeah.
It's crazy how that feels like it was 10 years ago.
Oh my god, dude! That literally, if I didn't process it when you said it, I would have said that was like 3 years ago. But then, I think what put it in my head was like I wrote blogs about it, and I was like, wait, it couldn't be like that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was last summer. Yeah, you're right.
It's fucked up, man. It's going to be super interesting to see when everything opens up, like what rap crews or what rappers are still like touring, who's really going to be killing on the concert scene. I don't know what's going to happen. I assume a lot of these guys are still making money off streams, I guess, but the majority of where everyone's eating is off of like concerts and shit. So I haven't seen too many people like pivot to I haven't seen like a groundbreaking pivot where it's like, oh, rappers are just going to do this now and they're not going to have live shows or it's going to supplement that income. Besides like people doing shit on Twitch and the versus battles, there's really nothing like to be done. There's no way these guys can make money if they can't tour.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, a lot of them really, I feel like it's just like, now I feel like a lot of them are getting more like endorsement deals, which is like a brand new thing. But, yeah, I mean, I think obviously the streaming, I think it's making more money than it ever has in terms of like just streaming. But, yeah, I mean, interesting times. It's just interesting times. People adapt though. I mean, if they're not doing fine, they're flexing like they're doing just fine.
Yeah, I wonder how much that now because of quarantine, I still see rappers flexing their money. It made me wonder. Like, I was like, how many times when they show us a stack of $5,000, is it that same $5,000? Now I'm feeling like this is some recycled cash because you're staying inside, you're at the house, you're not going to the bank that often. You took out $10,000 during quarantine, and you've kept flashing that same $10,000.
Probably, yeah.
It's crazy. How do we feel about Steve Nash, the owner and operator of the Gem Saloon, coming in to become the coach of the Brooklyn Nets now?
Well, I am a Nets fan, so not overly excited about it, but optimistic. I did say the first thing I said when we came on here is I hope he doesn't become another Jason Kidd, because they were looking at bringing in Greg Popovich the other day, and I was fucking stoked on that.
Yeah, that's quite the that's quite the cost. I think you're getting like one of the like a top 5 maybe coach in the history of sports.
Yeah, right.
And instead getting like even though Steve Nash obviously a legend, but
yeah,
it's I honestly the Nets are weird because I thought like Jacques Vaughn was great. Like I mean, what they did even this year, like making like the playoffs as a 7 seed with literally like with basically Spencer Dinwiddie and Karis LeVert being their best players. Like that's overachieving if you ask me. Like Jacques Vaughn, I think was a good coach.
Yeah.
You don't think Steve Nash could be a good coach? I know you said like
no. I think he can. No, I absolutely think he can. I mean, but
it's
he's never coached.
Yeah.
He's never coached on any level.
I think comparatively to Jason Kidd, I just see something in Steve Nash. Like he's a soccer guy. He's also a basketball guy. He just seems like someone who's super cerebral and he plays like, I mean, Jason Kidd did too. Jason Kidd played at a high IQ level in when he played on the Nets and even on the Mavericks. But I just feel like Steve Nash seems like he gives me a Steve Kerr temperament almost as well. I feel like he's going to kind of be that Steve Kerr type of players coach who also, knows his shit and the players will respect what he's saying.
Yeah, and it's not.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Fresh out of the league, you know what I mean? Like
he's been out for a few years.
Yeah.
Steve, no, that's fair. I think the Kerr comparison is solid. I don't think that's crazy like far-fetched.
If he's able to like relate to KD, or if him and KD, in my opinion, if him and KD can have like a super amicable situation, or they're like in each other's ear in a positive way, like feeding off each other, I think that could be a very special player-coach marriage if they can figure themselves out. I don't see it going volatile, but I feel like if those two hit it off in like a coaching way, I think they could be 100%. Shit could be popping off in Brooklyn.
I mean, Kyrie's the one you got to worry about.
Yeah. 100%.
Kyrie's the one you really need to worry about more than KD. I think KD's going to ball regardless.
But do you think, I think Kyrie along with Steve Nash?
I think the relationship with Kyrie is the most important in my opinion, because she's the one that's the most volatile in terms of like he's shown like it worked in Cleveland. Obviously, they won a championship. Like you could say it worked, but there was volatile times. He eventually wanted out. Then Boston didn't work there. Like didn't work with that team environment. Like he wanted out. Like I think that relationship with Kyrie is even more important than KD.
Do you think Kyrie's ever had has had a situation in the NBA that he didn't respect his coach? Because I don't think he won't not respect Steve Nash. I think they're both point guards. They both like have a degree of understanding that one another is a savage.
And it's on MVP.
I know it. Steve Nash is my favorite basketball player probably of all time. And the 06-07 when the Suns played the Mavericks in the Eastern Conference, I think they played actually the Western Conference Finals. Those were my two. That was like one of my favorite memories of basketball. It was right before the same year the Mavericks beat the Heat in the finals. But I love that Suns team. But I don't know. That was 2010.
Yeah, the first time they were in the finals. Yeah,
the first time it wasn't like 08.
Nah, 2010.
I thought it was either between 2006, 2008.
Nah, LeBron was on the Cavs in those.
But what Steve Nash? I feel like Steve Nash was on the Lakers by 2010.
Nah, after that, like 2012, he was on the Lakers.
Maybe he was 2010 then.
Like those Suns teams, that was like their last kind of run at it.
Because I feel like they were 2006, like 2006, 2007 was when like Raja Bell, Sean Marion were all on the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Like Stoudemire in his prime.
Yeah.
Because 2010 was the same year because like
Stoudemire was in the Knicks in 2010 though, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like Stoudemire went to the Knicks. Like that was when Braun went to the Heat and like all that happened. And that was their last year basically. And then because LeBron, like he lost in 2010 and then he won in 2011, 2012 and then lost he lost in 13. And then like 14 came over to the Cavs. I'm pretty sure like 15 came to the Cavs.
Wow, we're getting old. Well, it's besides the point. That era of the Suns was like my favorite team of all time. But I think Kyrie will have to like respect him, and I feel like they'll get along. I don't know. I know Kyrie seems like a volatile asshole, but I feel like he'll be able to connect with Steve Nash. It hurts because the Knicks are just gonna be.
Oh my god!
It just horrible. It's just another horrible. Like think about who's just across the water. We have Steve Nash, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, and then
the saddest thing is the saddest part of it all is they wanted to come here.
I know,
and then they realized like it was such a shitty situation. Let's just do it in Brooklyn instead, which is just mortifying, but it's just the truth.
Imagine we had Kyrie and KD on the Knicks right
now.
We
would have. We literally would have. Like imagine like we would have sat through this year being so bad, just smiling, being like, "Fuck this year." Like next year we're gonna have KD and Kyrie, and it's a wrap.
You know, James Dolan has coronavirus. Maybe he'll croak.
Fuck James Dolan, dude. That guy's a scumbag cocksucker.
I don't wish death on him, but I wish that I wish at least some type of serious financial hit on him that he has to sell the team. That's what I will not wish death. I would wish financial death on him.
I would love nothing more.
Who's the guy that bought is buying the Mets? What's his fucking name?
What I forget. It's like.
Does he
the
have enough
Mets.
money? Does he have enough money to buy the Knicks?
Dude, he's
No.
got $14 billion. He's
So
a,
in theory,
but he's not going to buy the Mets and the Knicks.
He's a Mets fan, so he would never buy the Knicks.
He's and James Dolan's not selling the Knicks.
I know.
He's just not. The guy owns the Rangers too.
I know how you feel, especially as like a Mets fan, but even a Jets fan because I hate the Johnsons. But now the Wilpons, I mean, it's not official yet, but Steve Cohen is the only one who's buying the Mets right now. The feeling I have with the freedom right now, knowing that I know money can't buy you championships, but being a fucking New York team now that's going to spend so much money is just like the greatest feeling ever. It's amazing. Because I've never had it before. I've never, the Johnsons do spend money, and the Wilpons did spend money before they got fucked over, but it's been like almost 15 years.
Yeah, they haven't spent like real money. I mean, they spent money on Cespedes. They spent money on Johan Santana. But
yeah, but that's the thing is they spend money on one guy. Like to really provide a stacked team.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that the Mets pay every year? What's his fucking
Bobby
name?
Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla.
This is how much money Steve Cohen has. He's just going to come in and just pay that whole contract. So that's no longer a fucking joke every July 1st. So that's how dysfunctional the Mets were under the Wilpons.
So were the Wilpons the ones that got into business with Bernie Madoff?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
They lost
dummies.
I mean, the Mets are such a joke. They literally got caught up in a Ponzi scheme. Like they literally got I'm saying, think about it like this. Like imagine George Steinbrenner getting caught up in a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like Steve Cohen
that would never happen.
No, Steve Cohen would never. The Wilpons are the most incompetent owners I think more incompetent than Dolan. Because Dolan will at least fucking put
Dolan's definitely
the Mets have had more success. I think that's a tough call.
No,
the Knicks have been bad.
But the Knicks make money, dude. The Knicks are
that's
still
what I'm saying.
The most profitable franchise.
Yeah, but that's because until like just now with like the Nets, they were the only show in town. Like the Mets are competing against the Yankees.
Dude, I don't think the Garden is not going to not sell out.
But the Mets have been competing against the most successful franchise in sports forever. The Knicks are just like the Knicks. Like they're the Garden. They play literally in the center of Manhattan. Like even when the Knicks are bad, they sell out just because they're the Knicks. Like they don't have any competition. The Mets have like real the hardest competition there is, period, in sports.
I know, but teams are bringing in $300 million a year. The Mets are losing $90 million a year.
Trust me, I'm not going to sit here and argue for
the Mets. Don't even turn a profit.
That I will not do.
No, dude, they're so broke.
They're horrible. They're so dumb.
Steve Cohen's.
I mean, the Yankees make so much money off just the Yes Network alone.
Well, that's a money maker. The Mets don't. They make
the Yes Network could fund literally everything the Yankees do.
No, it's the same with the Mets though. SNY is their money maker. Like the Mets aren't the money maker. So like when Steve Cohen went to buy the Mets back in December. For the price that he got them now, he got them for $250 million less because Jeff Wilpon wanted to stay in power for 5 additional years. Now, because of this sale, $250 million less. They're still getting $2.3 billion, but
how did Cohen make his money? Hedge fund guy?
Yeah. Have you ever seen the show Billions?
That's about him.
That's about him. Yeah.
I think that the Knicks should just tell the Nets, hey, just come play here. Like we'll become one team. We'll become,
won't do that, dude.
We'll become Knicks too, and you can just keep only. You don't have to keep 2 Knicks, and then just keep the rest of the Nets roster. Just let them play at Madison Square Garden.
They just merge, and then every Knicks player just gets cut. Literally, besides like RJ Barrett.
Yeah, literally do that. Cut the whole team besides RJ, and then
we just keep like one young talent who might have some potential.
The Jets were going to.
RJ Barrett goes from being the best player on the team to like the 8th guy.
Yeah, not even like 6 man. Oh. Should we get these slaps out?
Yeah, I've got a great slap.
What's your slap?
Listen, boys.
Yes.
It may not be the full version. There may be some songs missing from the track list on the newly dropped on all streaming platforms. But No Ceilings is on streaming platforms.
It is.
there are some great songs missing. Ice Cream Paint Job missing. Maybe
Really?
there's like 3 or 4 that are missing that I could argue are like some of the best ones. Like Ice Cream Paint Job, Run This Town is missing. Maybe you could argue one of the best ones. I Got No Ceilings.
Is Watch My Shoes on it?
Thank you for saying my slap of the week, my friend. That is my slap of the week because this man, I swear to you, I was in the car with my boy Vin the other day. We were listening to it, and I was sitting there. I was like, yo, no one is rapping like this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no one is capable of rapping like this. This man is rapping his ass off for 4 minutes straight, no hooks, just giving you bars, and not just bars. He's switching up the flow every like 20 seconds, and every flow he drops sounds just as hard, if not harder, than the last one.
No one is rapping like that anymore, dude.
Everyone's
singing. Everyone's singing.
Like when he just got like no ceilings, motherfucker, good morning, dude. Why are you yawning? I'm going just rapping like that for like 4 minutes straight, and just the way, like I said, just the way he's switching up the flows and just the voice. I literally had chills. Like I was like, look at my thigh right now. I literally had goosebumps just listening to. I'm like, this guy is unbelievable. Like swag surfing, fucking all like. Watch My Shoes, No Ceilings. That's my slap of the week. Rap his ass off.
I bet the other songs are maybe some of them will get cleared on there, but like Run This Town, there's no way that's going to be on there. It's the regular version's too big of a song for the label of whoever.
Because even the ones he got cleared. So like Watch My Shoes, like on the stream platform, it's just called Shoes.
Really?
Like the swag surfing, it's called Surf Swag. Like he had to like switch the title and shit, but. But I definitely wasn't shocked that he wasn't able to get like a few of them cleared. Like Ice Cream Paint Job, like that. I mean, pretty much every song he did was like, it was like a massive song that year. That was kind of like
it was another artist's biggest song. So like most artists are going to give up the royalties to their song so you can remix it.
Exactly, like fucking like Duro with one hit song is not giving his sample to Wayne to make another hit song off of.
Yeah, exactly. Mine is the EP 1999 that just came out 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, by Rich Brian, who famously once went by Rich Chiga. He had a song called That Stick that went viral. Indonesian kid, raps like it, but kind of sounds like he's a full-grown black man because he's a very deep voice. He was actually on Barstool Breakfast this week with me and Large. We interviewed him all about his come up as an Indonesian rapper. He taught himself how to speak English from watching YouTube videos and listening to rap music because he didn't even go to school. He was homeschooled. But he's since made a complete almost 180 in his music. He's not talking gangster shit anymore. He's making like pop singing music. And it's actually really good. So check that out. Rich Brian. The EP is called 1999.
I'm going Surf by Mac Miller.
What for some reason a bunch of was it his birthday? A bunch of or maybe it was the anniversary of one of his albums. But last week a bunch of Mac Miller shit was popping on my timeline. I went down a little deep hole listening to all the kids stuff. That era.
I've never been a huge Mac Miller fan, but there's a couple songs I really like by him, and that's one for sure.
He was like about to break through the rapper mold into just artist because he was doing like jazzy shit.
For sure.
RIP the white boys.
Yeah, there's this one video I'll send you guys. It's him and Ariana Grande playing like a live track in like a studio, and the duo that they do together is just like unreal.
That bitch.
I still do the one like the what is it, like the Tiny Desk, is it called, or like the Tiny
NPR's Tiny Desk concert?
Like that one he did literally, it almost brings me to tears. Him singing that shit. Amazing. His voice, his whole like demeanor, like he literally is the type of dude who no one can know who he was, and he could show up to like an open like one of those like acapella open mics and just like crush it. He's amazing, absolutely amazing.
RIP the GOAT.
Legend, a true legend. RIP.
All right. Well, we've ended the road again, or near the end of the road again. As always, follow us at 808 Smoke Breaks on all social platforms. Leave a review, rate, comment, subscribe. Follow the Twitter page and retweet any of the memes you see because we're all about the memes.
That's facts.
Follow us
offended,
personally
right?
on our own pages. Follow at Wayne Jetski 2Ys. Follow at Double Vodka Don. Follow at Coops.there.it-is. No, lie. At Coops.there-it-is. What?
Yep. On
One day we'll
Instagram.
get it. One day we'll get it.
They'll get it.
All right. Peace.